Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 265 of Hobby Hotline. Cousin Tony on the mic. And today I'm joined by two of the biggest guys in the hobby. First up, Mike, Junk Wax Hero. Mike, what's going on, brother?
Hey, good. I'm thrilled to be here. We're supposed to be in the middle of a hurricane here, but it's pretty tame in Maine right now. It's a little windy, no rain. It's not bad.
Okay, nice. And with us is our resident mechanic, Mr. Logan, King NASCAR. What's going on, Logan?
Well, it's Saturday and we're talking about trading cards, so everything's great.
Awesome. Sounds good. Before we get started, let's get to some of these comments. Foul Ball says, "Good morning, guys." Silver Fox says, "My first time that I've made. Let's go." Awesome. Well, welcome. Mad City Brew says, "Good morning." And Frank says, "Good morning." So let's get off and running here. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, just want to recap you guys. I mean, obviously the NFL kicked off this past week, and we're going into week 2. And just wanted to get you guys just actually prospecting comes always to mind because I mean, you hear, guys talking about these quarterbacks that haven't taken a professional snap yet, and you look at their card values, and often they're worth more than guys who've won multiple Super Bowls, multiple MVPs, things like that. And it was, I mean, obviously week 1 now in the NFL is kind of a glorified preseason game because most of the guys don't play up until the first actual real game. So just want to get some thoughts first on, if you're watching the games or anything like that, and just the thought of the quarterbacks that get, hyped up before the season and after week 1, where you're at. So Mike, just some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm not a big football guy. I don't collect any football cards whatsoever, but I am a football fan, and I found there were a lot of surprises in week 1. Like some of the top quarterbacks played terribly, but hopefully people aren't panicking. If you're collecting Josh Allen or Mahomes or Burrow, you're not panicking after one game because those guys are still the best of the best, and you shouldn't be selling just because they had a bad week 1.
Yeah, that's always the key is like, man, can these guys withstand holding on? So, just I think it depends on the age of the collector, maybe. You might get a younger guy who panics and he's just, abandoning ship as opposed to someone who's been in the game for a while and knows the ebbs and flows of the hobby. So, but Logan, anything on that?
Well, I'm kind of like Mike. I don't collect football now. I do have some funny football cards like Dick Post and those kind of guys. But but I don't collect it, but I do watch it. And I'm like Mike. Don't freak out. Don't sell. I mean, it's only 1 week. That doesn't make a career. So hold on to your cards. Don't be in a sell mode. I mean, if you're going to be in a sell mode, there's going to be people that are going to go, ha 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 ha. I'm going to buy your cards. So it's we'll know more this week about the temperature of the NFL and how the teams are doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think after one week, like I said, you get your feet wet. And I'm an Eagles fan, so they just played Thursday and they looked a little better, but you can still see that's not really, it takes a while till they kind of figure it out. So, and a lot of guys getting hurt really early too. So I don't know if that's just from not being conditioned or what, but I mean, like I know they're out 3 or 4 starters already. So it's like, geez, where's this going to go from here?
But, yeah, I mean, do you think that if Aaron Rodgers had played more preseason, that he might not be in the position that he's in now?
Ooh.
I don't know if that would protect your Achilles.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, just curious.
Yeah. Silver Fox says some of your Aaron Rodgers rookie cards he's trashed. There you go.
Yeah, it'll be a good time to buy on Aaron Rodgers soon, I'm sure, because he's a surefire Hall of Famer, and his values are going to go down after this.
Yeah, I would think so. It's strange. I know, and now there's a big push from the Players Association to get grass on all the fields. But again, that injury that I don't know if you guys saw it, but they showed the replay. And you could see where it actually pops and his leg kind of jumps up. It looks. I was like,
ooh,
yeah. So I don't know. That was just a freak thing. So I don't know if being conditioned or not, if that played any part into it. But
they had the same thing with Kevin Durant in what year was that?
Yeah.
2019 NBA Finals,
Yep.
and you could see it like his calf
Yeah.
bounced. I
Yeah.
don't remember if that was his Achilles or a calf problem, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So not good. Not good. Orlando's here. He says, hello, everyone. Foul Ball says, baseball only here. He doesn't collect football. Mookie Chilson's in the house. Mookie says, Jets should have let Aaron Rodgers hold the flag on the way out of the stadium. Classes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's something there. Rex is here. He goes, good morning from New Buffalo, Michigan, and Valparaiso, Indiana. You're on the big screen at the shop. Thank you. Much appreciated. So, speaking of the shop, there's a big release this week, I guess, and it's causing a little stir. I know I have some opinions on it, but I want to see what you guys think first. Bowman Chrome released, and I'm actually going to pull these things up as you guys are talking, but there's a first Bowman that's being issued of guys like Babe Ruth, Roberto Clemente, and let's just say that there's some people that have some thoughts on it. So, Mike, I'll kick it to you first. I'll pull up the Babe Ruth they just sent me, but talk to me about this first Bowman and these legends.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's silly to me. I'm certainly not a buyer of them, but I suspect that Fanatics knows what they're doing, and they have plenty of people who are interested in them. And any opportunity Fanatics can make to make a buck, they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't think you'll see any vintage collectors like me say, "Oh, I've got to have a first Bowman of Clemente or Babe Ruth." I don't even know who the checklist is of these. See, that's the 2016 Bowman that I sent you. That's not
Yep.
even one of the new ones. They already had Bowmans of some of these players. So I don't know. Is this not his first Bowman in 2016?
It's tough to argue, that it's not when it's clearly is. I mean, it's obviously dated way earlier than the one they're releasing this year and claiming it's as the first Bowman.
Yeah.
So and here's here's the Clemente. This one's at a 50, and this one actually has a $2,500 price tag on it, or OBO. But I had seen one earlier this week with a $3,500 price tag on it. So it was just strange. So, Logan, where you at on this stuff?
I agree. It's gimmicky for sure. There's no doubt about it. Does the Babe Ruth card, is he in his Boston uniform or is he in the?
He's in Boston.
Is
Yeah,
he,
and the Red Sox logo, it's not even a logo, it just says Red Sox and it's way off center. It's out of the box of where it's supposed to be. Looks terrible.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of these things. Go back here. It's one of these things that it's just. I just see it, Mike. I mean, you talked about it. I was like, it's a gimmick, and then you put these bounties on top of it. It's a gimmick on top of a gimmick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are they telling us that they're really struggling to move this product? I think.
Yeah, I mean, you see in the past week or so, we've seen Walmart reduce prices on old blaster boxes down to now $20 from 30 or 35 or I don't know, $40 boxes. Every time I go into Walmart or Target now, they have an abundant number of boxes. There are tons of blaster boxes and I don't know, jumbo boxes, whatever, at both of them now. It just now they're saying who's paying that $200,000 bounty? I know DA Card World, David Adams is offering it, but do they have a customer who has said, "Hey, we want this," or is it Topps that's offering it somehow? That seems unlikely that they would do it through DA Card World unless they're trying to like launder the reputation somehow through there, because it would seem weird if Topps were doing it. I don't know. I'm really curious what other people think about that gimmick on the gimmick with the
Yeah.
bounties on the first Bowman Babe Ruth 1/1.
Yeah. Logan, anything on that?
I think it's stupid money. I mean, $200,000 for that. I mean, golly, go and buy yourself a low end. I guess you can still buy a low end 52 mantle for that. I mean, I just think it's crazy. If you've got that kind of money, send it to me. I can make better use of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's strange. And I always say, like, who is actually paying these bounties if and when they get, uh caught or whatever. But let me get to some of these. Mark says, as someone who collects vintage, I wouldn't even look at these. So I collect Roberto Clemente, but then I also will dabble in some of the newer modern things that they put out. This one particular here, I saw it right away. I'm like, at best, that's like a $50 card, maybe 100 on a good day. I
Mhm.
just don't. It's based on some of the stuff that I buy, and we'll get into that later. Just because you slapped on that sticker on there, it does nothing for me at all. It's actually, I think, it's a pretty cool picture. I haven't seen that picture used on a card before. You don't like his particular one is him bunning, which is, but you never really see that too much. But it just did nothing to move the needle. Yeah, so I agree there with Mark. Let's see here, Rex says, he goes, I don't hate the idea, but I think they should have picked players who actually never been in Bowman. The bounty is also silly. The 200K is just a marketing expense for Dave and Adams. So,
Oh yeah,
uh, there you go.
it's a lot of hype. They're trying to hype the product
Yeah.
because I guess maybe a lot of people maybe I'm not sure. I'm not a baseball collector, but I don't know what the sales are like on that. Rex probably has a good temperature on how the sales are on that, but maybe the sales are not as good as they thought. And maybe they're trying to hype it with this $200,000 bounty.
Yeah, I think so. See what here. Cooter says, for the money, people on these can try rarity gimmick cards. You could buy a complete set of mid '60s tops. Seems like a no brainer. Yeah, you could. You
Totally
can.
agree.
Yeah, you can definitely pick up. I mean, for 200K, you can definitely put it into something that's a little more stable and you know that has stood the test of time as opposed to something like this. I mean, I imagine these guys that are paying $2, $3, $4,000 for these first Bowman cards are really going to be regretting it in a week or two.
Hmm. I
So,
totally agree. There's going to be a lot of regrets.
Mookie Chilson has a great point
yeah,
here.
yeah. Let's see. So Mookie says, Mookie, nostalgia is the driving force behind so much hobby spending. Fanatics knows it. They can't profit off actual vintage cars, so they're creating their own. Very good point, Mike. What do you think
Spot
on that?
on.
Yeah, I mean, Fanatics knows that there's a massive market for vintage cards. There are a lot of people who are collecting only vintage, and they're trying to get these guys like me to collect ultra modern too, because that's the only place they can make money, unless they do weird buybacks of like 1952 tops cards or something and try to put them in packs. But I don't know. I just don't see this being effective in the way in getting vintage collectors into ultra modern cards.
Yeah. Yeah, well, here, I'll just show it now because it's on kind of on topic. So I'll dabble in some of that stuff depending on what it looks and what it is. So this is a 2022 Allen and Ginter. It's Clemente, but it's super fractor. But I just thought it looked cool, and let me show you guys. So like, I just like the card because of the way it looks. I know that it's not, obviously in the grand scheme of things, it's not a plain days card. It's nothing like that. So yeah, I kind of fall into that trap, but it's certain things. Like I said, the Bowman one right away, I'm like, no way. I was like, this is just because of the thought. I was like, you slapped on the Bowman, putting as first Bowman. It just doesn't do anything for me. But I will dabble into some of that stuff depending on what it is. So I get it what they're going for. Chris Harris says a 33 Gaudi autograph by the Bay recently sold for 182. So you can get that. You know,
I would
Yeah,
take
there you
that
go.
any
I
day.
mean, you could buy the real thing with the real autograph for less money. That's again. I just think it's crazy. It's a stupid money. I think, in my opinion.
yeah. Yeah, let me see here. Let's see. Steven says, good morning, all. TD says, hello, all. Orlando says, if you like it, let's see here. Sorry. If you like it, be patient. The prices will go down a lot. For
Oh
sure.
yeah,
For
they
sure.
always do.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
That's one thing I had to teach my son when he first started collecting. When he was a kid, he's thinking, "Oh, I got to get it now. We got to buy it now." I'm going, "No, no, we don't have to buy it now. Just hold on, be patient. The prices will go down." And he later on, he's like, "Dad, you're right. I'm going, yeah, I've been around a while. I know all about it.
The rare dad win.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back then I was kind of the dumbest man on the planet. So yeah, it was a rare dad win.
That's great. And Chris says Joe Carter and Bryce Pop ruined his childhood. Yeah, Joe Carter ruined my childhood, man. So it's I still see it. I still see that ball going over the fence to this day. So,
Ooh,
yeah, man, that hurt, but it is what it is, man. That's what made me the nice, bitter Philadelphia fan that I am, right? So
ooh.
Rex says, I actually think Allen and Ginter will be more fun next week and half the price of Bowman Chrome. Look at that.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
Well, just think that this Babe Ruth card is going to be in the PSA set registry Babe Ruth master set. So if you're a Babe Ruth collector, you're gonna have to buy it if you like graded. If you do graded,
That is true. That is true. TD says, I think some of these will hold some value though. The main legends. Thoughts on that?
I think if it's a 1 of 1 or if it's numbered, they will still have some value in 10 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be they'll be at their highest value in the next week or so.
yes, I think it only declines from there. Totally agree.
Yeah. Collector's Dream says, awesome 101. Thank you. Val says, it's all a gimmick. Tony has fallen for it. Yeah, like, but the thing is, I know going into it, like, I think the card looks cool. Like, I mean, for me, I think it's a nice portrait and it is what it is. Like, I know that, trust me, I bought this. I know that it's not going to go up. But then again, like, I buy this stuff and it's not really going anywhere either. So it's like, you know, it's just everybody collects their own way, and for me, like this is probably its forever home. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm certainly not going to tell anybody how to collect, and because I don't want anybody to tell me how to collect. But for me, that's just no bueno for me.
Yeah, understood. Silver Fox says apparently his moment was as an adult, and the ball was just out of the reach of Nelson Cruz. Ouch. Isn't it funny how you can, like, no matter where it is in time, you're gonna, and Mike, we were just talking about off air, and you can share it if you want, but pick a moment in time, sports, and you can know exactly where you were, what the game was, who it was, and all that stuff. And to this day, still the wound is open, and every once in a while it gets opened again, and salt gets thrown in. So
2003 Red Sox, they had one of the greatest offenses of all time. It's my favorite team of all time, 2003, 2004. And I watched every single game that year. I knew every tendency. And I remember watching game 7 of the ALCS with my father-in-law. And Grady Little came out of the dugout, Pedro on the mound in the 7th inning, maybe. And Pedro had, I think, 103 pitches. My father-in-law says, "Oh, here comes Grady to take Pedro out." And I said, "He's not going to take Pedro out. He's too stupid. He's too arrogant, and he's going to leave Pedro in." My father-in-law, "No way." He walks back, and I knew the game was over from there. It just, you got to take Pedro out at that point.
yeah,
It still burns me, even though they won the World Series the next year. Still burns me.
For sure. Yeah, it's funny how the bad ones stick longer than the good memories. Logan, you have anything like that with any sports event or race or anything like that?
Oh, there's almost too many to talk about. Back in the day, NASCAR would throw these what they would call debris cautions to, like, get the field back together and make the race a little bit more exciting. And they always seem to benefit the guys like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, and that would really just stick in my craw because I knew you couldn't find any debris on the track. So that would always stick in my craw, and that happened quite a bit back, a few years ago.
Yeah. And I like I said, I watched NASCAR for like between 2000 and 2006 ish. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, oh, there's nothing going on. All of a sudden, there's a piece of paper that appears on the track somewhere, and they throw a caution flag. So
yeah, luckily they've stopped doing that. But they did it for a long time. It was just these contrived cautions, and they even showed a video one time of a track worker going out. He acted like he was picking something off the track, and they had another angle, and he wasn't picking up anything at all.
It blew off by the time they came.
Oh yeah.
Right. So a lot of this stuff is well, Mookie said it's nostalgia driven. And I want to ask you guys about kids today. You think kids today are going to have the same nostalgia for cards that we do? And Mike, I'll lead off with you.
Well, I guess it depends on when you grew up, right? I grew up during the junk box era, and I have a ton of nostalgia for very specific cards in the 80s and early 90s. And I don't look at when I was a kid, I kind of thought about their monetary value. We thought they were going to be worth millions, right? We were going to retire off of our cards at that time. But there was also a lot more joy in the cards then. And maybe kids nowadays still have that joy, but I think kids now look at them. I don't know. I definitely know some kids who do it for the joy, but there's probably more of the hustle and value. And there's just so many cards out there, so many parallels, so many. How many cards can you be nostalgic for 20 years down the road? Like a rated rookie of a guy, one of his 1,000 rookie cards. I don't know. It's tough to say. And I'm certainly not dumping on the way kids collect nowadays. It's more about the fanatics and tops and Panini flooding the market and making it difficult for kids to really have that nostalgia in the future.
Yeah. Logan?
Well, I think, like you say, I think it's more of the hustle now and more of the being able to make money off the cards. And I'll give you an example. Back when Formula One first came out, I went to one of our local hobby shops, and I walked in and I saw a guy. He had a box of 2020 Topps Chrome F1, and he was walking into the hobby shop with it, and I kind of mentioned it to him. He goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, "I'm going to open up this box, and I hope to pull that Lewis guy." And I went, "Huh? You don't even know. All you're worried about is trying." And it's just some kid. He paid like $650 or something for this box. He told me, and all he was worried about was trying to make money. He had no idea who Lewis Hamilton was. I don't think he really cared. All he worried about was, hey, if I get this card, I'm going to send it to PSA. I'm going to grade it. I'm going to make a lot of money. So I think that's more the mentality now, because you got to think there's a lot of things going on in the world these days, especially with social media and all the electronics and everything that's going on. It's like squirrel, look over here, look over there. The kids have a lot that they can do. So I don't know, and I may be wrong, but I think a lot of them don't pay attention to what's going on with sports. They're just, all they know is, hey, this card is worth some money. This card is worth some money. Let's try to flip it and make some money. And like what Mike said, I had no problem with whatever they want to do. But I think that's the way of the world right now.
Yeah.
That's a great comment by, I think his name is Steven. I always forget.
Yeah, it goes 1 Million Cubs Project says there will always be nostalgia. It would just be different than our nostalgia. Kids in the 50s and 60s threw cards and put in their bike spokes. 80s kids had price guides and penny sleeves.
Yeah, kids now have Zion cases and
It's so true.
online price guides.
Yeah. For me, it's a couple factors. And actually I wanted to give kudos to Rob, Sports Card Therapist, had this on his show, this topic. And for me, well, first thing, players bounce around a lot more now than they did before. I mean, you got guys that are doing 1-year deals here, there, and then, they're on five, 6 teams, within 7, 8 years. So that's one thing where the players are all over the place, and the kids are spending a lot more time on video games than they are, things like that. Like, I mean, Logan, you mentioned it, social media and things like that. And the money thing, the kids are a lot smarter today in the hobby than I think they were when I was a kid in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down with a 12, 13-year-old kid. It's not the same conversation it was with most kids back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, these kids are a lot more educated in what's, the values of these cards and things like that. So, and Mike, your thing too. We're like, when we were just gonna hold these cards forever. Now the kids now they kind of know that I need to move this today because tomorrow it's not going to be worth what it is today. But so I don't know. I mean that 1 million Cubs projects comment there was actually very good. Just thinking, what's their, I guess their nostalgia is going to be the Zion case, where ours is a binder. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think their nostalgia might even be like they watch a lot of YouTube or
Yeah,
TikTok on cards. I assume there's some card stuff on TikTok. I've never
yeah, I don't know.
done. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about what kind of card-based nostalgia they would have. Superfractors. What will there be in 25 years, 30 years on cards? Will they all be digital by then? And maybe the nostalgia will be, remember when they were on cardboard or
That's
whatever
true.
they're now?
That's
We,
true.
my nostalgia was back in the 70s when I had my little black and white TV, and we would take it outside on Saturdays and watch the game of the week with Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek. That was my nostalgia, watching guys like Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and those guys, or Brooks Robinson or whoever, and that was my nostalgia. That was really fun. We'd sit outside and watch TV and watch the game of the week.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of games back then.
Yeah, I mean now a kid can pull up 30 games at one shot on his phone. So it is what it is. Clay says the hobby is lots of ways to enjoy it for what it's worth. So crazy
1 million
cat.
carbs name is Bo, by the way. I don't know where I
Okay.
got Steven. Yeah,
There
sorry about
you
that.
go. You were close. You were close.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Hey, Crazy cat says Roth cards doesn't hold cards for more than 48 hours. So yeah, there you go. That kind of goes back to so the younger guys being aware of these things. Cash in now.
Yeah, lots of ways to enjoy the hobby, like Clay says. I'm not being critical of the different ways that people are. It's just so different from the nostalgia that we have. They're going to have such different nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, to the point where, like you said, maybe the cards will be all digital and stuff like that. Then does that then raise the value of these cards that were actually printed on a cardboard? I don't know. Just something to think about. Undrafted player says the prices of these new product sports cards are just ridiculous, too expensive.
Totally
Logan,
agree with
yeah,
that.
go ahead.
The fact when everybody was buying up everything during the pandemic and selling it for all these crazy prices, just even the retail, and now the retails come back now and it's like $30-$35 for a blaster. And of course, Mike, you were talking about now that they've got the extreme value at Walmart, and now they're back down to where they should be at $20. Everybody was trying to cash in. I think prices are going to have to come down just a little bit. You're right. It's exorbitant right now for sure.
Are you, Mike? You don't buy any like stuff, new product, correct?
I haven't since probably April. I had a New Year's resolution to not buy any wax this year, and I've
Okay.
maybe bought 3 blasters,
Okay.
which
All
is
right.
a lot fewer than I bought last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just wanted to go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that diet didn't go very good either.
Yeah, and I think I've gotten an autograph in all 3 of the blasters I've bought, which and then each of the autographs, I think, oh wow, an autograph, on card autograph, first Bowman, and I look them up and they're worth $3 because there's so many of them.
That's tough. That's what I was gonna ask you. I was like, so when you're opening the blaster, are you opening it with the thought process of like, this is probably not gonna be good as I'm, as you're ripping the wax before you even get into the actual box.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Difficult isn't the right word. That makes it seem like there's skill involved. It's so rare to actually, if your blaster's $30 or $35, to get back $30 or $35 worth of cards.
Yeah, that's tough. But like, you got to remember, like when you opened the pack as a kid, you were so excited just to open the pack, and now you're just hoping to break even. Like I don't know, it's the mindset is so weird on that.
Yeah, I mean, since I collect NASCAR, I don't worry about trying to get my money back. I do it just purely for fun, and I like to make videos of it. So that to me, that's the fun part for me.
There's definitely value in opening boxes. You have the fun experience, especially if you do it with your kids, where maybe if you get back $15 or $20 worth of cards, it's still worth it because you had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Just the experience of opening cards. I see some guys are saying there's no retail in their area. You guys seeing retail in your areas?
Tons of it.
Yeah, me too.
All sports.
Well,
Yeah.
the two WalMarts that are closest to me have gotten rid of cards completely.
Hmm.
They have no cards. So Target is really my go-to place now if I want to go get a blaster or something. But of course, with racing, I don't get the 50 different baseball issues a month like baseball does, which I don't know how baseball collectors keep up with that. But we only get like 5 a year, 5 releases a year, so it's not like we get a lot.
I actually think that's a good thing.
I think it is too. I
Yeah.
think it's an oversaturation of the market right now. I mean, I know that they're paying a lot for these licenses and they're trying to maximize, uh, you know, everything to try to get their money's worth out of these licenses. But I mean, at some point, it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, like I agree. I don't know how guys keep up with
Mm-mm.
20, 30, 40 releases a year. Like, I mean, how do you? I mean, look, I mean, we just said that you have Bowman this week and then Allen Ginter next week. So, I mean, if you're in that world, man, how do you navigate that? And also knowing that if you buy a box more often than not, you're not even going to get the value back out of the box that you bought. So,
Well, I remember back when I was a kid, back in the '70s. We knew that sometime in April that baseball cards were going to come out. We didn't know when they were going to come out. We just when we saw them in the stores when we knew that they were out. So, unlike today where we know exactly when things are going to be released or delayed or whatever's going to happen. But back then it was just like, oh gosh, let's go to the store today. Maybe we're going to have some cards. Oh no, we don't. Oh, we got them today. It's so that was some excitement there as well.
yeah. Yeah, the old thrill of the chase, thrill of the hunt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, I get on my bike and go to. We actually had a store when I lived in Louisville, Kentucky, when I was a kid called Convenient, and that was the closest place. And of course, I wasn't even supposed to go there on my bike, but I wanted baseball cards so badly that I would just throw caution to the wind and get on my bike and get on these busy streets and go there. So I guess I'm lucky I'm alive right now.
That's where you picked up your passion for racing.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's great. So let's talk a little cards, man. Mike, what do you other than what are you kind of collecting these days or things like that? Where you at?
Yeah, I've barely bought anything since the National. I spent, for me, a lot of money at the National. You see these people talking in the comments about kids with $10,000. I can't fathom spending $10,000 even in a year on cards, let alone at one show. But I do enjoy through the mail autographs, TTM, and I'm also a big collector of Perez Steele, Donruss Diamond Kings autographs of
Oh,
Hall of
nice.
Famers. So I got this Jim Rice back in the mail this week.
Very nice.
And I got this Ryan Sandberg back in the mail this week. So I cleared 20% of all the Hall of Famers for those 15 years. And then I got my first ever redemption X Fractor of Ryan Mountcastle
Ooh.
autograph. First X Fractor, too. It's numbered to 125.
Ooh.
So
I know a
that's what
guy
I got
I know a
this
guy in
week.
Baltimore that might be interested in that.
I know I showed him.
Did he jump through the screen?
No, Mountcastle is he's a little older. You've got Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman now,
Yeah.
and they just called up their number 3 prospect. I don't remember who that is off the top of my head, but they just called him up this week too.
Hmm.
So Mountcastle's old news.
Gotcha. That's cool. Before you continue, let me go here. Rex says there's too much focus on immediate ROI on the cards that come from a box. The reality is we don't know which rookies from a given box might become great years from now. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, how often does that happen?
So few rookies will become great.
That's true too.
That's so true.
That is
Yeah,
true.
I'm seeing a comment from T206 kid. He's wanting to know where I lived in Louisville. I lived in South Louisville, It was near like New Cut Road and Old Third Street, that area. So just so you know.
There you go. Let's see. Silver Fox says, my ripping is for pure enjoyment, like the movies, and I may get a return possibly. This Labor Day was a weekend family rip. Now we are building the 2023 top space set with inserts and relics, core memories.
That's awesome.
That's great. That is great. It's just like I said, I don't know how often we see that with some younger collectors because, like I said, I mean, they're running around the show just kind of looking to flip cards and all that stuff. But that is the kind of like say the base of the hobby, that like you're ripping cars and just building memories and thinking back of, remember we sat in the back porch and we were ripping stuff and things like that.
I'm
Kev
15 cards short of the 2023 Topps base set, Silver Fox. So maybe we can.
Ooh, there you go. Reach out. There you go. Kev says, nice pickup on the Mount Castle. O's
R.
Oh, see, I was like, hey, O's are going to be good for a while. Good young talent with no huge contracts. Yeah, that's the key.
Except the owner has talked openly about how he can't pay his players. No, sorry. He says he can't pay them. He just refuses to pay them.
Yeah, because I tell Danny that. I said, you guys are fine, but then don't let them all go to New York. Like, so it's like open up the wallet there and make it happen, man. I mean, the fact that the Orioles are good, I think it's cool, man. I think that's a really nice stadium there and all that stuff. So Silver's asking you which series. He goes, I have 3 extra stacks full of series 2.
Yeah. Email me. You know my email address.
There you go. Look at that. Nice trade live on there. Yeah. Anything else, Mike, you want to share?
Nope. Those are the only 3 things I've picked up in weeks.
Gotcha. Logan, where you at with any pickups or just cards that you want to talk about, anything like that?
Yeah, I want to show this card real quick. This is a T68 Davy Crockett card. I've had this for a little while. There's been a lot of chatter on Twitter about Jefferson Burdick, who is the father of the hobby. And the good thing about this card is this card was actually owned by Jefferson Burdick. And if you people know anything about the history, he stamped all his cards. And if you see on the back, it says Jeff B. And I can turn it upside down. You can probably see up here where it says Jeff Burdick right there. He stamped it twice with his stamps. So this is a card that was actually at one point in his collection. So I think that's a really, really neat card to have. And I've got to get it out of this SGC holder and get it into a PSA holder.
It's nice though. That's very cool. Nice centering there, and very nice.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get it with a pedigree on it where it says the Jefferson Burdick collection from PSA. I was actually talking to them at the National about it. So hopefully we can get that done. So if anybody from PSA is watching or listening, hit me up.
There you go. Nice.
I got a couple comments I want to address here.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah.
2 people saying I'm not a collector. So first of all, and I think the best comment comes from Word down below. No one wants to collect valueless trash. It's just that there's so much junk in the ultra modern boxes that I'm not. Sure, I've talked about getting the value back. It's just that there's nothing in there that I want. My point is buy singles instead of opening up the stuff where you're not going to get your favorite player, because a blaster now you're going to get like 28 cards. And what are the chances of you getting the cards of the players you want? And then if you don't, you've got to sell them to try to get your money back because you don't want those players. So I buy singles.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's just, and this comment here says, if you're worried about the ROI on a box of cards, are you a collector? Probably not.
That's a good point, because I get people all the time, when they find out I collect cards, of course they see all the stuff on the news about all these 6-figure, 7-figure cards, right? So they ask me, oh, you collect cards, it must be worth a lot of money. How much do you think your collection's worth? I'm going, I honestly have no idea. I collect because I'm a collector and I have fun with it. And I don't, and anybody that knows me knows that I do not sell anything at all.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you're just, that's the thing too. It's like sometimes we get caught up on this value stuff, but there's also something to be said, just collecting for the sake of collecting and having somewhere, maybe you go in your basement or wherever you have your stuff and you just chill out for a while and you admire the stuff that you have. It's just, I don't know. It can be escape too. It doesn't always have to be all about the ROI stuff. So
I agree. I get a peaceful, easy feeling when I'm sorting cards.
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah. There's something
I
to be
like
said for
doing
that.
it. It's fun.
Yeah. It's therapeutic for some people.
Yes.
Mark says always buy singles. Have never bought cards from Walmart or Target.
That's the way to go.
No,
So,
he's right. But I'm in NASCAR, so I really don't have a lot of choice of not buying some of the new stuff if I want to get some cards. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck.
fair enough. Any other cards there, Logan?
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of cards.
Yeah, no shortage of that, right?
No shortage of that.
Can't be any better than that one though, Logan.
Yeah,
No, I should have saved this one for last.
yeah.
I am a bowling guy. I used to bowl a lot when I was a kid, and Leaf had this card right here of Kyle Troop. And if anybody who knows Kyle Troop, he's got a big fro. So
Fear the fro.
Oh
he
wow.
signed it and says "Fear the Fro." I love that card. It's just so cool. And he has a fro pick, and he'll whip it out when he's bowling. It's kind of a gimmick, but it's still kind of cool. So I like that card
awesome.
from Leaf.
Yeah, a lot of
And
criticism for Leaf, but they do cool things like that. They get people that you wouldn't normally find in card sets, and they get them to sign them with cool inscriptions.
Oh, I know. And then here's this Portland Pickles card from their mascot, Dylan T. Pickle. And I just love this card just because it's just so funny. It's just a great card.
That is good stuff.
Yeah, Dylan Pickles. Yeah, when I saw those on Leaf, I said I got to buy those. Those are just too cool. Something else I've got here that I'll show real quick is, back when PSA first started, of course they slabbed up some sample cards, and they're kind of hard to find now. But I've had this one for a little bit, and it's it says 1982 Topps Raleigh Fingers sample. It's a PSA sample, and it shows you where the grade would be. And at the time they put a fake cert number on there, but I think that cert number is actually taken now by a real card.
Wow.
So that cert is not not valid, but that was a sample that PSA gave out just to say, hey, this is what our slabs are going to look like. So
that's crazy.
Wow,
that's
cool.
Cool. So you don't see those very often.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Let me get some of these comments real quick here. Logan, so this is Logan is a true collector, and then let me go out of order here real quick. But 1 Million Cubs Project says I'm a false collector because I sell cards and care about their value.
Go Bo.
Yeah. It's always funny to see that debate. I'm like, you can care about the values of your cards and collect it. So Nicolette has a question here for you, Mike. What are the junk wax eras worth looking in for in NBA and MLB in it collection?
Yeah, but that's a tough one. There's not a lot, and just having investments in your name tells me that you're probably looking for high value cards. There's not a lot. You got to look for high grade, rare, like the 84 Don Mattingly in a PSA 10 is extremely rare. 84 Fleer Update, Roger Clemens and Kirby Puckett in 10s. Topps Tiffany in 10s of the top players. There's just not a lot that's rare.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe within that stuff, on card autos of things like that, high grade things. Like, yeah, you can probably find some diamonds in the rough, but yeah, you definitely really gonna have to dig through because for the most part, it's a lot of all the same stuff. So just little outliers like that. Definitely, yeah. Orlando says the Tiffany stuff. So
yeah, it looks like Cooter's calling out Bo.
Yes, he said, nice try. So, anything else, Logan?
Oh yeah. I collect. I don't collect football, but I do collect some football.
Okay.
This 2004 CFL card of Charles Assman Now, of course, you can figure out the reason I got this card, right?
There's a Seinfeld episode about him.
Yeah, part-time proctologist.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do have on the PSA set registry, I do have a showcase called my sophomoric slab showcase, and it's all cards that have funny names or funny pictures. So of course, this card has gone into my sophomoric slab showcase. So
Nice.
I like cards like that, you know.
Now, do you have saved searches for stuff like that?
Some of them I do, yes,
Okay.
because they're so hard to find.
Well, that's great. That's great. They're asking you, Logan said, why would you want to put that card in a PSA holder? That card looks perfectly in that SGC holder.
Because I'm a PSA guy.
There you go.
I've got like 7,500 slab cards, so I'm not changing now.
Wow. Yeah. So I don't remember now. Was that one of the older SGC slabs and labels?
Yeah, it's older. It's the green label.
Yeah.
See, I've never been able to figure out
it's puzzling
what the 20 means and all that stuff. That just that just confused me as a collector. So
yeah, I tend to agree that if I would put it in a new SGC slab and label, but PSA, fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, I want to get the pedigree on it, so I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be cool too. I mean, I'm with you there with Logan on slab uniformity. I kind of like them. Whatever it is, I like them all to look the same. Whatever company it is, for just me personally, most of my cards are PSA, so I just ended up starting just kind of funnel my way through that. I've had to cross over some cards just to keep them all. I like they all look the same. So
yeah, I think I can count on two hands the amount of Beckett or SGC slabs that I've got. It's just not very many.
Yeah, it's fair. All right. Anything else? One more. One more.
Sure. Let me see. Let me find one here. Let's see. Okay, I like this one. This one's funny. I like this guy. This is a baseball card, 1978 Topps. Mark Lemongello.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I like lime jello. Okay, I like the green jello. But of course, again, I collected that because of the name, and that's also in my showcase as well. So, yeah, pretty funny name. I had to pick that up.
That's awesome. That is good stuff. That's fine. Mike, I
don't know what this error is. I mean,
Don Russ, Ripken error. Yeah,
Ripken, Fleer, Billy Ripken.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a Fleer card, not Don Russ.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Cooter said all slabs are equal in the eyes of his bandsaw. That's good stuff. So I'll go. Just have a couple here. This one actually, sitting on this Dr. J here for a while now. Picked this up at the one Philly show. I was after this. I had one before, and I ended up trading it. Basically, almost gifting it to a fellow collector, and I was able to just recoup one back. And this one, if you know anything about this card, that there's usually a fisheye around his elbow, and this one doesn't have it. So I was happy to pick that up. Not bad for a lower grade, but like I said, it doesn't have the fisheye, and color is pretty nice. So overall, pretty decent card. I was happy to pick this up at the 2 Philly shows ago. So
that's nice.
That's really cool. When I was a kid growing up in Louisville, of course, we liked the Louisville Colonels ABA team, and we had Dan Issel and Artis Gilmore and all those guys back then. And I've got actually some of those cards too, of their cards. Mm-hmm. And those were the good old days going to Freedom Hall in Louisville, and I love the basketball, the red, white, and blue basketball. I always thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I know. It's like they high flying, dunking, and all that good stuff. So I hear you. Another one I have. So yesterday was Roberto Clemente Day, and that is pretty much the bulk of my collecting stuff is Clemente stuff. And this one is the 1962 Bob Clemente. And this one actually has the Mike Baker eye appeal type deal. So I was happy to pick this. This card's tough, man, with this wooden border. You
Yeah.
usually see the edges kind of beat up. So this when they picked this up in a 6, I was happy to get that. So
Yeah, that's a
140.
beauty, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. This was when I saw this. This was one of those where actually there was a podcast, the shallow one, the guy Iowa Dave, and he was talking about what they call a mega bid, where you see a card and you put it a real high bid because you're like, I'm not gonna lose this card, and uh hopefully if I do lose this, I mean if I do lose this card, the guy that's gonna win is gonna pay a pretty penny for it. And this was one of those cards where I put in a pretty hefty bid, and I was like, oh man, I hope it doesn't go that high, but I kind of want to secure that. So
Yeah.
let me see here. Eddie says a collector. Never heard of it. Fair enough. Um, that's great. Kidding is basically that's fire free now. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's it's a good thing if you ask me. I mean, I don't know. It's one of the better players, one of the better human beings to ever grace the field. So it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. So let's see. Cooter said, love the solid color background. That's why I think the 54 Red Hearts are some of the most beautiful cars in vintage.
I agree with him on that. When I was a kid, trying to pick up any Red Hearts whatsoever, those were so nice cards. They were so nice. I just love those cards.
Mm, fair enough. Silver Fox says he needs this 57 Clemente for his set bill. Also, he and I share a birthday. Well, look at that. Very nice.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, I think I'm down to like 5 or 6 now as I'm building the run. Kind of got distracted a couple times, but for me, I like to see these cards in hand because a lot of times they look a lot better when on eBay or wherever it is, and then when you get them in hand, it's like, oh wow, they're not as sharp looking as they looked on the auction. So, and the last one I'll show is a gimmick that I fell for. Again, I told you, this is just and here's a gimmick with a color match, and this is the Clemente 2021 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. This is the black and gold refractor. This one's actually out of 10. And I actually built this rainbow again, knowing that I know that it's not going to be worth millions and millions of dollars uh, tomorrow or anytime soon. But I think it looks cool. And again, it's kind of goes back to like collect what you like, collect what you love, and it doesn't really matter. So
Yep. That
Nice.
that black gold border looks pretty cool, and of course it's the retro 52 top, so that's a cool card. I'm not gonna
yeah,
ding you for that. I think it's pretty cool, man.
that's why I like it's got the 52 tops kind of flavor, and yeah, it just uh it's like I said, some of the stuff I do when I see it, oh, I like that, but again, I know that I'm buying it and I take my time, get at a decent price because again, it's kind of other than maybe to another Clemente collector, it's not going to be highly sought after. So, but guys, that's pretty much all I have for today. Before we leave, Mike, any closing thoughts? Things coming up in the hobby, your show, all that stuff.
There's a big card show in Portland, Maine next Saturday. And when I say big and Maine in the same sentence, they don't mean the same as wherever you guys are probably. But it is one of the bigger shows in Maine. So I'm looking forward to that
Next Saturday, you said?
next Saturday. Yeah.
I'm
I think
actually
it's
heading
both days.
to I'm actually heading to Vermont next Saturday with the wife. So I don't know.
Got a
I've
ways
already
to go to get to Maine from
yeah,
there.
so that might be a little far. I kind of looked up some local card shops to see if we're going to be in and around the area. So it's I always try to squeeze in maybe a little card action on a vacation. Yeah, next weekend is the Philly show. Um, but
I'm
Mike,
guessing the
anything?
Philly show is a little bigger than the Portland show.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But Mike, where can they find you and your content at?
Here on YouTube, channel name is Junk Wax Hero. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't really do much on Twitter.
Fair enough. Logan?
Well, later on today, or actually soon as we get done here, I'm going to head to a card show, the Mid South Card Show. And it's kind of like what Mike said. It's not a huge show. It's probably 60 tables at best on a good day. So that's where I'm heading. Then I'll probably stop at my LCS, which is literally going to be around the corner from where they're having the show. and probably drop by Chick-fil-A and get me some more sweet tea. so that's gonna be my day today for the most part. And then we've got the Bristol race, night race tonight. So if any of you want to see a really good NASCAR race, the Bristol night race is probably one of the best races that NASCAR has every year. So I would tune in. It'll be on, I think it's on USA, maybe whatever channel.
Yep. Mike, you had something on the tee?
Is that a Chick-fil-A cup behind you, Logan?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, brother. I got some sweet tea.
We have one Chick-fil-A in Maine, and the line is outrageously long every time. I've been once, but they have 2 drive-throughs, which is not something you see in Maine.
Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing that you only have one in the whole state.
As far as I know, there's only one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's new. It's only been there for a couple of years.
Wow.
Whoever owns that is going to make a mint.
Yeah.
For sure. Logan, I can definitely sign off on the Bristol night race. I was able to attend a few years back, and it was awesome. That was back before they put dirt. So
yeah, no dirt tonight. It's all concrete.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's definitely fun. If you like to see crashes, I mean, that's the race for you.
That is the race, man. They will be running into each other and crashing like crazy tonight, especially since it's a playoff race. So it'll be crazy.
Fair enough. So apparently Mainers hate chicken, but
Not
they
true.
have some
I love
amazing
chicken.
And you can catch me on the Cousins Collectibles podcast. Myself and my cousin Oz, we release podcasts every Monday and Friday where we kind of just talk about our collecting journey and all kinds of other goofy stuff. But other than that, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you can catch me. I have a YouTube channel with all my box breaks and all the crazy things that I do, PSA reveals. And then, of course, you've got Val and I on NASCAR Radio, which we do every week. It drops usually late on Thursday nights. And we've been doing it quite some time. It's on YouTube, and it's also a podcast. So you can catch us either way.
There you go. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Make sure to check out the crew next Saturday, same time, same bat channel, all that good stuff. So again, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.